now I cannot see anybody. So let me see, I can still pull up. 1 second. Let's see. All right, anyway, now that I'm presenting, I don't see anybody. So if you raise your hand, I'm not going to be able to see you. So if there's any questions, stop me anytime. Make sure you unmute yourself and stop me, because otherwise I cannot hear you. So obviously,
Master Leslie,
yes, yes.
Master Leslie, one more participant wants to join your presentation, Melissa Mosley. If you could kindly let her join, sir, please.
I just clicked on admit, and then I see a hand, Master Shane.
That was me testing.
No, her name is
sure you could see it. I just did that to see if you could see it. So if they do raise hand, you'll be able to see it. Okay. Yep.
So you can do that. Yeah, please. So if you have questions, raise your hand with Zoom so I can see it. Not physically raising your hand, because I cannot see any video. I can't even see myself. But in any case, so I have the slide that updated. Obviously, I'm not going to go through every slide today. So I'm just going to highlight the important things I think is a good reminder for everyone. So I'm going to start with inspection. So one thing that we have been doing in USAT events, which we have been doing for WT event for a while now, is we check fingernails and toenails at weigh-in. Reason is that if there's a problem with fingernails or toenails when they're in the ring, then it's easy to take another 5 minutes. So you have to hold up the ring, etc. So at WT events, we decided to do fingernails and toenails check at weigh-in. So if a player has the toenail or fingernails too long, we're not going to weigh them in. So at USAT events, we also bring nail clippers. So it's a good idea for you guys to start doing this as well, so you don't have that problem when you get to the ring, right? So make sure everything's toenails and fingernails are cut before you weigh them in. Okay. Let's see. There's a new way to tie hobos, which, let me play this video for you. So you tie it the same way, crisscross all the way. So this is still the same as the cultural old way, right? Then you take the loop, shorten the strings, you thread it under, and then tie them. So basically you do the same way, number one, and then shorten the strings, and then loop it up to the first or second cross, doesn't matter. So usually we do it here. Let me see if I can. Usually we loop it up and do it somewhere like here. So we loop it back up, thread it through, and then you tie another knot, okay? Let me play one more time. Just want to make sure everyone sees this. Okay.
So it still needs to be tied from the top down.
Yes, that part is the same. That part is the same. And then you have to use every hole that you have, like crisscross all the way. You cannot skip any of them, okay? So this is the same, still same old way, okay? Now you shorten the strings. Thread it from the inside. And tie one more knot, okay? So that we don't have the long loops or long strings hanging in the back, okay? Got it? Okay. Let's see. So these hasn't changed, but mouthpiece very important. I'm still seeing a lot of double mouth, like people are braids and they don't have double mouthpiece. So make sure you catch those. I'm sure you guys know the mana tester, so I'm going to skip all those. You know rings are 8x8, so I'm not going to go through that. You know what the points are. But one thing I want to remind everyone is how to look at a scoreboard. I'm sure most of you guys know. So you have the points. So in this case, Hong is on the left, Chong is on the right. So this big number is a score. So you see this yellow dot in the bottom. So that indicates who wins the previous round. So in this case, we're at round 2, 28 seconds left. Hong has a yellow dot. That means Hong has won the first round. Okay. So Shane, I don't know whether you have the latest scoreboard. So this is the latest scoreboard that we have at the World Championships. Okay. So you notice a few things. Number one, you don't have the hit levels. So you don't have these hit level in the bottom. And then number two, you will see this green number. Let me see, let me highlight this. So you see this thing, right? There you go. So that is the number of registered hits. So this is the same as before as in the golden round. So these are the hits that are not strong enough to be scored, but they are registered by the PSS. For example, if you look at Chong, right? Chong has 5 points, so they have 1 body shot, right? But the hit is still 0. That means Chong has only scored 2 points to score 1 kick, and it has been scored. Okay. There's also this green button here indicates who is winning, right? So the number one criteria is, of course, you look at the total score, right? So in this particular example, Chong is winning by 5-3. So of course, Chong is going to win this round, right? Things get more interesting when the scores are tied, right? This button will actually tells you who is winning that round. Okay. So let's say if the score is 3-3, so coaches and athletes, they can take a look at this button to see if they're to see if they're leading, right? So for example, if you are home coach and if it's 3-3, right? You see the green thing is on the other side. You better, if you're a coach, you better ask your player to kick more, right? So maybe you get another hit so that you will have an advantage in the tie-breaking criteria, okay? Let's see. Let's see what else. So you guys know what a scoring area is, permitted area. I'm not going to go through them in details. So here's an example of the scoreboard when there's a register hit. So you will see this thing change. So look at the hits here, right? So both are 0. Did you see Chong did a kick, but they didn't score? And then the hits go from 0 to 1, right? I'll play this again. You guys see this okay? Or is it choppy?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So let me play one more time. So pay attention to Chong. So there's 0-0. After that cut kick, it landed on Hong's Hogu. So the number of hits goes up by 1, but then it didn't score. That means it's a registered hit. It's not strong enough to be scored, but then the PSS recorded it. Okay. Best of 3 systems. We did it national. We did it at our qualifiers, or what USAT called Grand Prix. So I assume most of you already know. 5 gum jump opponent wins, and then we have 12-point gap. If there's a 12-point gap, the one that scored 12 points win the round. Other than semi-final, final in the senior division. Just a quick review of the hand signal for declaring a round winner. So come on. Then everybody stay on the spot, send players back, and then declare winner. So you don't have to move. You don't have to move like to the center to declare the winner. You can just do it on the spot. Okay. So come on, stay in that spot, sends player back, and then on that same spot, declare winner. Okay. So I've seen a lot of people like they first do Kumon, and then they send the player back, and then they walk back to the center of the ring, and then declare winner. You don't have to do that. So just come on the spot, sends player back, and then on the spot declare winner. Okay. When a player gets 4 gum jumps, make sure you remind them. Player step out. Hong also got 3 gum jumps, so this is a 4th gum jump. Show them 4 fingers, okay? And then you can proceed. So make sure you show them 4 fingers, so they know there are 4 gum jumps, okay? There's one more nice thing about this new scoreboard, is that when there's a point gap or when it will show. So see that in the back here. It's a point gap. So as center referee, you know, it's a point gap. So you should stop the game. Okay. Okay. So let's review the tiebreakers. First thing to look at is the number of points from turning or spinning kick. Okay. Oops. Then you look at high point value technique. Who has scored more 3 points technique, who has scored more 2 points technique, 1 point, and then go to gum jump, right? And then you look at number of registered hits. So these are body kicks that's registered by scoring but not strong enough to score. If all these are tied, then we do Wushigiro. Okay. And the data system will show you what it is. So in this example, there's no points, there's no turning kick or spinning kick point. So these are 0-0 for Cheung and Hong. In this example, tag means the high point value technique, right? What this means is Cheung has scored 2 head kicks. So that's why it's a 2H, 2 head kicks. So Hong scored 3 head kicks, so that's a 3H. So in this case, Hong wins the match because Hong scored more 3 points technique, right? So the rest doesn't matter, and the system will tell you, okay, Hong wins the game, okay? But this is not always correct. Even at World Championship, I have not watched every match, and I saw 2 times the data system is wrong. In the sense that the turning kick and spinning are all 0, tag is all the same, hits are all the same. It's supposed to go to Wushigiro, but then the system would default to say, okay, Cheung wins, or it would say Hong wins, right? So if you're at the table, if you're at the TA, make sure you check everything before the center referee declare winners. Center referee, make sure you wait. Make sure the decision by the computer is correct before you declare winner. Okay? We've seen it more than a couple of times. So if you declare the wrong side, and court asks them come back and they declare the other side, it just doesn't look good. Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to go through these examples. I assume you guys know. Okay, Wushigiro. So this is after looking at the points from turning kick or spinning kick, high point value technique, and number of registered hits. So if all these are the same, we go to Wushigiro, right? So the superiority criteria are the same, right? It has not changed. So if you have a 2-judge system, then the 2 judges and referee vote. If you do 3 judges system, then only a 3 judges vote. So the referee does not vote. The referee in that case will just step to the back and have the 3 judges line up on one line. Okay. I have an example of that, of how to do a 2 judges system. I don't know how many judges you're doing, but at USAT event, we do 2 judge system. Also World Championships. Okay. So I found a perfect video for this, for Wushigiro. Okay.
Separates them. They can't be separated on the scores at the moment. The little touch on the inside of the protector. Was that enough for Kwon?
Yes. We have the green dot. The clown's corner, so 1-1 in rounds. Complicated much? And it isn't, so it's the USAT Karok. It's going to be that, so if we stay on the referee here, the judges are going to come and join them and signal as to whether this is superiority to red or blue. And if it goes to Agaev, he's into the final. If it goes to Kwon, we're into the third round. 2 for Kwon, 1 for Agaev. Okay, decision.
Okay, so let's take a look, right? So time is up. Number 1, center referee sends the player back. Okay, and then you see the center referee was waiting. He was waiting, and the TA or the one who is at the table will give them a signal. So let me stop sharing for a minute. I'll tell you what the signal is because you don't see it here. So I'm the TA. Okay, I look at the match. I do all the math, right? Okay, it's Wusik Giro. Stand up and do this. Okay, just to review jury or the TA, whoever at the table. Okay, the referee take 1 step back and say Wusik Giro. Okay, that's what this referee has done. Okay, let me go back to sharing my screen so you can see the rest. Okay, so referee waits, see the signal, he's take 1 step back. So he take 1 step back.
And it isn't, so it's the USAT Karok. It's being separated from the champion.
And then you hear him say Wusik Giro, right? And then the corner judge will come out from their seat. And yes, that's Angela, by the way. Make 1 line. Okay. Send the referee count, Hana do set. When center referee says set, which means number 3, then each one of them declare the winner of the round.
Goes to Kwon, we're into the third round.
Okay. So in this case, on the left side is Cheung, on the right side is Hong. So two of them vote for Hong, 1 of them vote for Cheung. Okay. Then the TA must update the TA sheet to indicate this. On the left is judge 1, center referee, and then judge 2. So you must use the check marks. You must use check marks to indicate who votes for who. So judge 1 vote for Hong, okay? Center referee and judge 2 voted for Hong, okay? That's how we do this. Any questions so far?
Yes, sir. Real quick,
Mhm.
you said you say set. Does that mean you say Hana dual set so they all go together, or do you just say set?
Hana do set. So
Okay, thought so. Sorry about that. I just
no
want
worries.
to clarify. We have a new. I think we have a newer ref on the thing. I just want to make sure that she.
Okay, so you step back, Wusik Giro, right? And then my corner judge is here, my corner judge is here, okay? And then Hana, do, set, this side or the other side, right?
Perfect. That's excellent. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Sharing. Okay. So TA sheet, make sure you fill out properly. I'll just find 1 example. The most common thing I see regarding TA sheet is this part, the bottom here. Make sure you circle the winner and how many rounds won, right? Not just in the top. So you need to mark the winner in two places. Number 1, you make a big circle like this one, circling the winner, and the little one at the bottom, okay? Okay. Corner judges, so I assume you guys already know this, but if there's any problem, make sure you stand up and say referee, not ref. I don't know why only in this country people say ref. No, you raise your arm, you raise your hand and say referee. Okay. And if one just stand, the other one must stand and also say referee to stop the match. Okay. So you do this, for example, if you miss technical points, there was a back kick, for example, to the body, only 2 points was scored, you press the button, but the additional 2 points didn't score. Okay, you must stand up and correct it. Number 2, on punches. So maybe you press late, you press the wrong button, that's fine. Like you make a mistake like that, that's okay, but you need to fix that. You need to stand and say referee, okay? And then if you're adding points, you can just point to, so as the center referee look at you, then you just point to Chong or Hong and say Yu jump or Yi jump, just as if you are in the center, okay? It's the same hand signal, it's the same command. So you send out referee, when referee has stopped the match, you say Chong, Yi jump, or Hong, Yi jump, right? And then, so we're only doing this to add points. So you have to remove points. For example, if the center referee forgot to remove points that were scored after gum jump, then you call meeting, okay? Questions? Yes.
Yes, sir. I just want to kind of reinforce and reiterate, because I'm both a coach and a referee. It's really important to know, guys, it's okay if you make a mistake. If you meant to hit the button, it didn't go up, don't let it slide if you really think it happened, right? You really want them to fix it and make it right. You don't want them to be embarrassed to say there's a mistake. You really want them to put their hands up, like it's encouraged, correct?
Yes, you must fix it. Especially a technical point, you cannot miss it. Like you just cannot. There's no what if we miss it. No. Don't miss it, right?
That's awesome. So if you think it should have went up and it didn't, fix it. That's kind of what I want to reinforce.
Yes, I would rather you stop the match and waste a little bit of time. It turns out to be not a point, or the other judge maybe didn't press a punch. Then we move on, right? I would rather you spend that few seconds to address this instead of not addressing this and the player lost by 1 point, and then you talk to the other corner judge, oh, did you press late? And then it's just not a good situation, right? So please don't do that. You must fix it. If you're a corner judge, there's any problem with the points, you must fix it.
Awesome. Can I get 2 more questions out of the way really fast and I'll be quiet?
Yes.
The next thing is the one thing that you mentioned here that when I bring it up at a local event, they look at me like I'm an alien, but when somebody like a coach asks, I would like 3 points for red, there's no discussion. You ask what the coach asked and they either say yes or no. So again, the no discussion thing is important because perception wise, if they all start having a conference, you're wondering what they're talking about. It's either yes or no, correct?
Yes. So we'll come to that when we go to IVRs or the section of IVR. So I don't know what you do at this competition, but yes, the center referee is only supposed to deliver the message, right? So verify with the coach, okay, you want head punch, you want head kicks, okay, I'll give you head kick. There's no like, okay, which kick, or it was too late. There's no discussion. As soon as you understand what the coach requested, then you take it to the review jury or you do a conference or whatever you want to do in this competition, right? So there's no discussion with the coach as soon as you understand what the request is. Okay.
But and even the referees pretty much they ask them corners yes or no to the question. It's not a huge discussion either. Okay.
Yes.
Then last thing is the 5-second rule. You've got 5 seconds. So if they look at video and it happened before 5 seconds when you challenge, is that ever enforced? Or is that just a thing that's kind of not enforced?
So we're still looking at 5 seconds. So in the sense that when the coach stand up, we'll go back 5 seconds in the video, not when the referee stop, but when the coach stand up, right? So when the action happens, the coach has 5 seconds to stand up and ask a video, right? So sometimes it could be like from a judges conference, right? Maybe the judges had a meeting. Okay, we remove 3 points because the judges thought it was scored after gum jump, right? So within 5 seconds of the center referee removing the points, the coach must stand up.
Right. And what's good is the coaches should understand they could lose challenges because they waited too long, and it's a good thing for coaches.
Yes.
To know. So that's kind of why I want to share that with other coaches, saying, listen, you could lose the challenge because you waited too long.
Yes, it has happened in World Championship as well. I saw a case. So, and I was review jury for one other case as well. So it was just too long. Like it's more than 5 seconds. Sorry, you don't get your head kick.
Awesome. Yeah, and I just want to reiterate that because I just want to share with other coaches. It's important that they don't get upset over something that's a true rule. That's all. Okay, I'll be quiet now.
So one more thing I want to add regarding corner judge is that there's a rule update in September. that at any time during any round, if one of the corner judges think there should be a technical point that's not scored, they can ask for video play. Example, I'm judge 1. I clearly see Cheung does a back kick which scored 2 points on the body. And I clearly see that it's a back kick and the 2 additional points was not added, right? So I stand up, say referee, okay, Cheung 2점, I want to add 2 points for Cheung because it was a turning kick. The other just did not see it. He was sleeping, he was thinking about something else, wasn't sure if the body shot was scored. He said no. He crossed his arm and said no. In that case, I, as a judge 1, I can ask for a conference and ask the center referee, please use video play to check whether it's a technical point. Okay?
That's awesome.
Yes, I have an example of that because it happened in Worlds. Yes, it's Macau snatch. So in case you have not seen this.
Michaela Greenwood, good work from the Chinese fighter. Yep. The back with a spin kick there to the body. It is Greenwood. Sensational stuff here. Which way will this one go? 5-all. The green light on in favour of Zhao until this moment. Ksenia Levi with the justified Gamjon.
So before I go on, how many points was scored?
Say again?
How many points was scored? So let's go back. Let's go back to the very beginning. So let's look at what the points are, right? So 3-5. Cheung is 3, Hong is 5. And then she does a spinning kick, right?
Right.
Oops.
Yeah. So it added 3.
Good work from the Chinese fighter. The back
but at 2. Oh, it's the body. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Greenwood, sensational stuff here.
And the Gamjon makes it 6.
5-all. The green
yes.
on in favour of Zhao until this moment. Ksenia Levi with the justified Gamjon. Can Michaela Greenwood bang? Will it be fantastic for her? We're looking at the coaches to see any reviews. It was the spinning kick requested, as you rightly said there, Melitza.
Yeah, we need 2 more points.
Oh, I see. Good. The corner did that. I see what you're saying.
Yes.
I
You can see Paul Greens was standing on the side already. But then this is something that corner just must fix themselves. Okay? We don't want to risk the coach card.
That's awesome. I like that.
So Ksenia Levi
So send the referee, use the card.
As you rightly called, now checking for the spinning kick. And if you remember back to what we're talking about, you'll get double points for the spin. This could decide the World Championship title.
So I'm going to skip all these.
It is fantastic for her. The 2 points are given to the consternation of the crowd. Michaela Greenwood could care less. Zhu Shao.
Okay, so number 1, doesn't matter whether the review jury thinks the kick hits. It doesn't matter, right? So if I'm review jury, so if I'm looking at this video, okay.
But now I think the Chinese demonstration has to lose too.
No question about it. Absolute devastation.
It might look like a miss, right? But the question here is whether this point has been scored. If it's scored, we have to give the additional points, right?
Yes.
Same situation applies if the player has touched the ground, right? Maybe the center referee didn't see it, but it is a back kick, it is a spinning kick. We must give the technical point. We cannot say, hey, center referee, you missed this. The player has touched the ground. Now, instead of adding 2 points, you remove 2 points. No, it doesn't happen like that. Okay.
And you're trying to save the coach's cards for more important contesting.
Yes. Yes. Okay. We don't want the referee mistakes we don't want the coach risking the card because of referee mistake like this, because there's absolutely no reason we miss technical points. I know sometimes a long day, stressful match, and a lot of things are happening, but there's no excuse to miss this. And if you do miss this, now we have one more tool to help you get this right. So use this.
Leslie, this was the corners that called this up?
The corners called them. So what you didn't see was Judge 1 was actually standing up and call meeting.
Okay.
Judge 2 was in the back. So center referee cannot see Judge 2 because she was in the back, right?
But the center now can call for a video replay anytime.
The judges has to call it.
Okay,
So maybe the center referee knows, but she cannot call it unless the judges were calling it. So you see judge stood up in the back, right? So now she can call meeting, right? And they talk. Okay, please use video play to check whether there should be 2 more points, right? So that's what happened here. So that's why I add 2 more points. It doesn't matter whether the kid actually hit the whole goal, hit the head, it doesn't matter. All we care is where there was a spinning technique and where the point has gone up. That's all we're looking at. Okay?
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. That's awesome. I like that.
Okay. No break time, by the way. So the next thing I want to talk about is clinch. This has been updated very slightly. So this is the rules now. When the player clinch, we give them 1 or 2 seconds to fight. Okay. If they break, if they start fighting out, then that's fine. You don't have to do anything, right? If they're still clinch after 1 second, then the referees give the fight signal, right? Because at nationals, I believe we're saying, okay, as soon as they clinch, you say fight. Now we're saying, okay, give them a little bit more time so that you don't go in and fight the whole time, right? Because sometimes they clinch, they separate, they clinch, they separate, they clinch, they separate very quickly, right? So now we're saying, okay, give them 1 or 2 seconds. If nothing happens, then you say fight, okay? If nothing happens, so after they clinch, after referee says fight, and then there's still nothing going on for maybe another 1 or 2 seconds, then the referee do Kaleo and case off if nobody is committing any penalties, right? In the past, we said, okay, one of them will give gum jump to at least one of them. No, that doesn't happen anymore because we are giving too many gum jumps. A lot of player has been gum jump out, so we don't want that. So I think the best way to do this is to play some videos. Clinch, nothing happens. Just Kaleo, separate them, and case off. You don't have to give gum jump. You give gum jump only if you see penalties. For example, grabbing, clear grabbing, right? So that's the criteria of grabbing has not changed, right? So if somebody is grabbing so that the opponent is impacted, right? So for example, if my opponent is trying to move back and kick me, I saw that I grabbed them, right? So I'm getting advantage with a illegal act, then yes, it's gum jump for me for grabbing. But if both of them just staying there doing nothing when they're clinching, then you just Kaleo case off. Okay. In a way, this is similar to always, other than we give the fight signal, right? Okay. So yes, in a way, it's similar to always, but this is what the rules is currently. Whether they will change it later, I don't know. My guess is they will change something. I don't know where they will change the clinching, but this is what it is now. Okay, so they clinch, you say fight. If nothing happens, nobody's committing any penalties. Kaleo, separate them, peace off. That's all. Okay.
Leslie?
Quick question.
Yes.
The clock doesn't stop then, right? Even though I said Kaleo to break them, the timekeeper should keep the clock running.
No, when you say, as soon as you say Kaleo, the computer operator should stop the clock.
It's going to stop the clock at each one of these. Okay.
Yes. Yes, another example. Clinch, give them a little bit of time to fight. Okay, nobody's doing anything. Case off. Okay. The reason I played this clip is you see, look at where the center referee goes, right? She doesn't just stay there. She started here on the left side of the screen and look at where she goes. She go to the other side to see where they're actually grabbing, right? So this is encouraged. We should be doing this, okay? The other thing you might notice is the referees are no longer at the boundary line because in the past we say, okay, we should be officiating from the boundary line, right? This is no longer the case. So we go back to the old ways in a way that you should be close to the players, but not too close that you'll get hit, right? Or not too close that you don't see the whole picture. You do not stay on the boundary line anymore, okay?
Leslie, nothing has changed in terms of just sitting and bouncing, though. If they're bouncing for 3 seconds, we give them time and then penalize.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
That part is exactly the same in terms of avoiding the match. It's still 3 seconds, right? So if they're bouncing at a distance, 3 seconds, nothing happened, then you say fight. If 3 more seconds, nothing happens, then you give gumjun to one of them. That stays the same. So let's see. So pushing is only allowed as a quick impact. Okay, I believe we use the same rules in nationals, which means if I'm pushing somebody as kind of drive them out of the boundary line with my hands out for like a few seconds, then that's a gum jump for pushing. Okay, it's allowed to be a quick impact. So I think the better word is shoving. Like we can shove somebody, right? But if you push somebody like as you're pushing against a wall for like a few seconds, try to push the wall away, right? That kind of pushing is what they call prolonged and continuous pushing. That's not allowed. So if a player does that, it's gum jump for pushing. Okay.
So you can't close and just walk forward. You shove and attack.
Correct.
Is what you're saying.
You
Okay.
shove and attack. Yes.
Got it. Okay. That's good.
The next one is the more interesting one regarding lifting the leg. So number one, this is too wordy. so number one, players are allowed to do 3 kicks in the air with the same leg without putting a leg down. The 4th kick is a gum jump. Okay, so they can do 1, 2, 3, and put the leg back on the ground. No gum jump for that. In the past, we said they can only do 2 kicks, and the 3rd kick is a gum jump. Now we give them 1 more kick, so they can do 3 kicks, 1, 2, 3, and then put it down. It's okay. But if they do 1, 2, 3, 4, then it's a gum jump. Okay.
Even if the 4th one hits them.
Yes.
Still got okay. Got it.
Yes. So it doesn't matter whether the first 3 kick or any of these kick hit the body, hit it like kick nothing but air. It doesn't matter. We only look at the number of kicks. Okay. 1, 2, 3, put it down. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4 is a gum jump. If the 4th kick scores, then we need to remove the points. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes.
The lure is the same leg, right?
Same leg without putting on the ground. So
yes.
when they lift the leg up, they can use that same leg to kick up to 3 times.
Okay. So
once they kick 3 times, they need to put the leg down.
So the 4th kick, if you turn into another kick, another leg kick, it should be okay.
So if they're 1, 2, 3 with the same leg, put the leg down and then use the other leg to kick. That's fine.
But if the 3rd kick is not put down and the turning kick another leg, using another leg, a turning kick on the space, it should be okay, right?
Yes,
yeah, okay.
That's fine. So the rule says if it's 4th, if they do 4 or more kicks with the same leg in the air without putting it down, then it's a gum jump.
Thank you.
Yep.
So you could kick with the same leg 3 times, turn that 3rd kick into a double and hit with the other foot. You're good.
That's perfectly fine.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
So, and then there's also a question of what is a quote unquote kick, right? So we look for knee extension, right? So any knee extension we consider as a kick. You call this only if you're sure, because sometimes a player will lift their leg up on the spot and they can kind of do all these funky things, right? So you as a referee define what a kick is. Okay, it's your discretion. Okay, that's the 3 or 4 kicks rules, right? 4th kick is a gum jump. That's number 1. Number 2, every time they slide forward or slide back, every time they slide, must have a kick. Every time they slide, they must have a kick. Look at this guy. Hold on, let me try again. So let's take a look at what Hong did, right? So the referee call it a little slow, but he is correct. So Hong lift the leg up here. There's no way I will call this a kick because it is extended. There's minimal amount of knee extension, right? And then he hops forward without kicking, and that's why he gets a gam jump, right? You see him hopping. Each hop must have a kick.
So he was just obstructing and basically instead of
correct.
Kicking. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Correct. So that is a gam jump because it's not a kick, and he slide without a kick. So that's a gam jump for lifting the leg. And the hand signal is cross, just like what this referee did. Okay. Another example. So the rules on when you do a fake or when you do lift your leg without kicking, you must follow up. That rule has not changed yet. That's what's happening here. So Cheung player here, he lift the leg and then put it back down, right? So he did this and then put it back down without following up. Give them a little bit of time. So that's what this referee did. He decided, okay, give them a little bit of time and see what happens, right? He thought about going in and calling this one. Okay, and you know what? Give them a little more time, but I would have called it, but that's okay. And then he did it again. Lift. And then doesn't really do anything, right?
But if that lift looked like an extended kick, he's good because he said that,
Yes.
That's cool. It's just the lift without what you would interpret as the intention to kick, correct?
Yes. So when you lift, you have to attack, right?
Okay.
This referee's interpretation was he lift, but he did not attack. So that rule has not changed. So it that was an old rule. So that rule has not changed.
Yep.
So I have a few more examples. So we can talk through some of these. So let me play this one. What's that lifting leg? What's that knee motion? Take a look one more time.
Third one.
But remember every skip they have to have a kick. So now take a look at whether the knee was moving or whether you would define it as a kick.
Two of them were not.
So I would say we are pretty lenient on defining what actually is a kick. You can see Hong is actually doing some sort of a knee motion. The knee has moved. So see this one more time. I see if I can play this a little slower. No, won't let me. But okay, let's play this. So pay attention to Hong's left leg because he's skipping forward. Each skip must have a kick. Now the question is whether what he's doing is a kick. See that moving? You see the knee movement from the left leg?
Yes.
Yes.
So I agree with this referee that we can consider that as a kick. The guideline from WT is that we call it only when we're sure. When you're sure that is skipping forward and that's no kick and doesn't do any kicks, then you stop the match and call it, but only when you're sure. That case, I would say 70–80% he was actually trying to kick, right? So I would not call that, I would not give him a gum jump for that. We don't want to kill the player. Okay, you must have, your knee must be straight, or we don't want to do that. So
okay. Blatant is what you're looking for. Blatant, obvious, just no attempt.
Correct. Only call it when you're sure. Okay. Next one. So Hong lift the leg, right? He skip forward and lift the leg. Now the question, did he kick? Somewhat, a little bit of movement.
He definitely didn't kick. He just rolled in with his knee at the same angle, I think.
He rolled in with the knee, but look at also the opponent, right? The opponent also close in. So he actually has no chance to kick. So in this case, I would say I'm not sure. So this referee did not call a gum jump for him, and I agree on that because Number one, yes, he was skipping forward. He does some sort of a kick, some sort of lifting leg, but the point here is he could not have extended his leg because he's already hitting the opponent, right? So we're given the benefit of doubt for not giving the counter. Okay, that's one of the cases that, okay, I'm not sure whether it's kicking, so I will not call this counter. Is that clear? That's how I interpret this this referee's action. Okay, next one. Okay, remember, every skip must have a kick, right? So now look at Cheung player to see whether he was trying to kick with his right leg as he was skipping forward. So let's take a look at this again. So, what do you think?
I don't think he did on the every skip. I don't think he actually tried to kick. I think he just obstructed.
Yep. So my opinion, by looking at this angle, Cheung was not trying to kick. So if I see this in the match, I would have called Gamja for lifting the leg. Of course, I don't know what this reference angle was. Maybe it could be one of those saying, oh, did he do this? And then he didn't call it. But if I see this, well, I have time to like play back and forth, slow-mo and all that. After looking at this a few times, I think Cheung was not trying to kick. I would have given a Gamja. Okay. But in real time, you have to make that decision like right away. Sometimes we miss them. That's okay. But we need to learn what the rules are. Okay. In this case, I would give a Gamja to Cheung. Okay. Just my opinion.
I have a question.
Yes.
It seems like if the other competitor is moving in while a kick is happening, that could persuade you that, yeah, even though there was no kick, there could have been, but
Correct.
the other competitor was moving in.
Correct. So again, call this only when you're sure. If it's a yes, maybe, no, or he's trying but he couldn't, then you don't call it. Okay.
I have a question, slightly a different call, but it
yes.
looks like me that Cheung did canceling first. You look at it real quick. Cheung raised his leg like he canceled.
Here, you mean?
Yeah.
So that's legal. He's trying to kick. Yeah. So
Okay.
that rule has not changed. That is the same like before COVID, 2019, 2018. That rule is the same. You can kick when your opponent is kicking you. So the way we interpret this is it's an exchange of technique. Let it happen.
Okay. I guess I'm looking, hopefully you have more clarification on what canceling is later on.
So that rules has not changed. So I don't have more videos on canceling. And it has to be discussed not just in USA, even a world championship, head of team meetings for like WTGPs and all that. This question is almost asked every time, and the answer has been the same every time. If it does something like this, it's considered exchange of technique, unless the kicker is aiming below the waist to try to kick the leg when the leg is like below the waist, right? Once the leg is above the waist, then if you kick on each other's leg, it's considered exchange of technique. It's allowed.
Okay.
I know what you mean.
Would it be easy to say, even though canceling is not an official term, the easiest thing to tell a referee is if they're canceling in the range of the scoring area, it's allowed. If the canceling is done in the range where there's nothing to score with, and that's obstruction, then that would be a penalty.
Yes,
or a low kick or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I will agree with that statement. Yes.
So what if they take their foot and hook the leg and move the leg aside?
So, for example, as in this kick, right? Like instead of just lifting and kick, but it just kind of hook the opponent's foot and kick it away.
They can hook the leg and slide the leg away.
So again, it's easier if we have a video of that situation. But there are two things I think about. Number one, is it grabbing, right? But it happens more when they're close range and one person was grabbing the other person with the leg, right? Like hooking hooking at the leg when they're standing. So that's definitely grabbing. Based on what you just told me, I would still consider it as an exchange of technique. I mean, leg hit each other, leg move because of the force, is exchange of technique, is live. So I would not call it. I would not have caught based on my understanding of what you said. But again, it will be a lot easier if we see the same video. Okay, is this a gum jump? Is that a gum jump? That'll be a lot easier to say, because I'm not sure if what I'm thinking is the same what you're trying to describe. So
I know. I think I know what he's talking about, and he makes a good point. But I think the reason they do that, Steve, is you could be hung up and trying to free your leg. You could be losing your balance and look like there's so many interpretations of that. I think that's why they keep it as in the scoring area.
Yes.
Because even though we do that as a technique, we do train to clear the leg. There's a million things that could look like that, I think.
Yes.
Well, I know because I've seen where people train to hook the leg with their foot and move it aside.
Yeah, we do
the
that.
leg aside.
We do it all the time above the scoring area, and it's right now legal.
Yes, for now it's legal. I should say for now. Yep. Okay, let me see what's next. Monkey kicks. So on the right hand side, this monkey kick is a classic, a classic example of monkey kick, because this guy did like, so this was 2015, and this guy did like, they counted like 13 of these kicks. Some score, some didn't. So that's definitely a gum jump for grabbing. In this picture at the bottom, is a nice shot of Anna. So it's a scorpion kick. So scorpion kick is allowed as long as there's no grabbing. Okay. So we apply the same concept to the head. If you kick to the back of the head while in clinch position with no space between contestant, that is a gum jump. There's no space.
So no space between contestants. I think that's a key thing that we were missing. So
the way that I look at this is this. So number one, for this kick to execute this kick, it's very hard to not grab. So if you're looking at their arms, then you should be able to catch it. Just call grabbing for it, right? If you see clear grabbing with the hands, you don't have to worry about whether it's hitting the back of the head, side of the head, doesn't matter, because there was grabbing. Then you just call that grabbing. For this particular kick to work, what I've seen is, number one, there's no space in the contestant before the kick, right? There's no space. And then he kicks, right? The second clue we can use is after the kick, that there's still no space between them. So just take a look at this again. Look at how much space they have between them before and after the kick. Right? He did it twice. So for both times, before he kicked, they clinch, there's no space. After he kicked, it is still clinching, right? What we've seen is, for example, I've seen people try to do like a shoving and then do a crescent kick to the side of the face. Either they will have pushed out with enough space in between to hit the side of the face of the opponent, so that you will see space between the players. Or the other case I've seen is they're clinching, one person, let's say Cheung, trying to shove the other person away and does crescent kick to the head, and Hong rush in so that Cheung's kick hit the back of the head. So you will see space in between them and then quickly get close. So in that case, it is not a gum jump kick in the back of the head. Okay, let's make that very clear. So two things I look at. Number one, the space between the contestant before the kick. Number two, space between the contestant after the kick. And there's a number three, which is the kicker's knee. See where the knee is, okay? So the knee would have passed the opponent's body for this kick to work, okay? So I'm gonna play this again. So take a look at where Cheung's knee is. So he does two of these. So take a look where his knee is for both kicks. Oops. Let's go. It passed the opponent's body, it passed again, right? So this is how I look at this, right? So if it's, let's say, a crescent kick to the side of the head, the knee has to be between both contestants, right? So if Cheung try to kick Hong to the side of the face, then Cheung's knee will be like between Hong's body, right? And himself, right? So if the knee has passed the opponent, then yes, he's trying to do one of these. Okay, so these are three things I look at: space between, space before the kick, space after the kick, and then where the knee is. Okay.
That helps a lot. That helps a lot.
Yeah. So these are clues that you can look for. So don't call a gum jump just because there's no space in between. So always take a look at the totality of the situation: before, after, and where the knee is. Okay. Okay, so we know all these. Two gum jump to the same player has not changed. Knockdown procedure. Oh, there has been a couple of good knockdowns, by the way. But one thing that I want to remind you is this very ugly flow chart. So when there's no point scored, then what do you do? There's an example by Master Huang at Worlds. So take a look at this video. The title kind of already said what it is.
Heavyweight now.
So textbook example, I really have no other words for him. So points are 9-0, Cheung's winning. There's a kick, right? So Hong goes down. No points, right? So even after count, it's still 9-0. Player falls down, so then you do what? Gum jump for falling. Do you touch the point? No, you don't touch the point. Okay, you just case off and life moves on from there. So Cheung clearly does a kick to the body. It did not score by PSS. Well, too bad. You still have the count, but no, you're not getting your points. Okay. Questions on this? So that was no score, and then gum jump or falling. In this case, it did not do IBR because it's clear. It's clear it's a permanent technique to score an area. So you don't have to do IBR, but sometimes when you're not sure, then you can do IBR and check whether it hits the hogu or whether it hit the groin, right? But that kick was really clear. It hit the hogu, no question, right? But if you don't know, like, your angle didn't see it, then you may use IBR, okay? Again, we only add points when we count for the head. If you count for the body, there's no point score, we don't touch it, okay? Okay, there's no lunchtime. You guys know where our card is, so I'm not going to waste time on this. We're not going to talk about light head contact rules, but again, if you have a question on any of these things I didn't cover, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'm going to go to video replay.
Is the most current slideshow like this available somewhere?
We are supposed to update the slides on USD website. I don't know when they're going to post it. I don't mind sharing the slide, but this slide deck, I believe, is a whole gigabyte because I have all these videos. So it might be 1.2 gigabyte. So it might be a chance for me to upload them.
I can provide you a folder that will accept that if you're willing to upload it. I
Yeah.
can provide a web folder, okay?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
So let's reveal what can be asked and what cannot be asked. You can ask head kicks. You can ask for own contestant head kicks. It's only for adding. You cannot ask for like, okay, remove that 3 points because I don't think it's, no, you cannot ask. So you can only ask for head kick, adding points for your own player, okay? Technical point, add or remove, you can ask. So my player does a back kick, but only 2 points score. I want 2 more points, that's fine. You can do the other side. Oh, I don't think so. Maybe player does a tornado kick. The tornado kick didn't score, but then there's another roundhouse kick without turning. Maybe that one scores. So if you're a coach, you see that happen. If the judges has added 2 points for that, okay, hey, I don't think that's a turning kick. Take off 2 points technical from the opponent. You can do that. Gum jump, there's only 4 you can ask for the opponent: falling down, crossing boundary line, attack the color, attack fallen opponent. So that has not changed. Coach can ask for removing any gum jump for their own player. Okay, I have seen coach ask for removing gum jump for misconduct because my player didn't say anything. That's fine. We can review it. Okay. So now this has changed. So the only thing that has changed is these 2 things. So there's a new hand signal for this. Let me stop sharing for a minute. I will show you what it is. So in the past, when we do head kicks, right? So we have to, okay, I have cards by the way. Tone, video will play. And then you walk to the video. Okay, he wants head kick. Okay, he wants head kick. And then walk, go back, right? So now we'll save a little bit of time. Okay. So you get the request from the coach. Tone, video will play. And then you just tap on the head. Okay. Not forward because you're blocking your own views. Not completely to the side. It looks more like a salute, so don't do this. More like 45, like this angle here is more like 45. So Chong video play and just tap, and then you wait. Okay, so that's for head kick. For technical points, you get your request from the coach. Chong video play, and then you stick out 2 fingers. So Chong video play, then 2. Okay. I almost cannot find a video for technical points because at Worlds, these judges will fix them. So please do that. Don't make the coach use the card for this. Oh, one more thing. If both are asking head kick, so now your both cards, and you have to do this and what you do. So you get a card, Tone video play. Tap on the head, switch to the card. Home video play, tap on the head. Okay, so the coach don't have to tell you whether they want 3 points or 5 points. They can say head kick, face kick. That's the only requirement from the coaches. Okay, and then if the coach say the wrong thing, for example, there was a spinning kick. It's a spinning kick to the head. The coach said 3 points. That's fine. We will review them. Okay, if it does hit, then we'll give them 5 points. Okay, so for review jury, when they make the decision on head kick, they will say accept 3 or accept 5. Okay, they can't just say accept and sit back down. Review jury is supposed to tell the center referee whether it's 3 points or whether it's 5 points. So I'm review jury. I check. I stand up, accepted. 3 points. I must do this. Okay, or accepted 5 points. Okay, clear on that? So there was a situation. Yes.
Master Cheung?
Yes.
Could you kindly say that once again, sir? It was not clear for me here, but the audio broke out. So could you kindly repeat it once again?
For head kicks, IBR?
Yeah, the same hand action that you just showed, sir.
So I'm review jury. Okay. I check whether the kick hit. Oh, it does hit. So I stand up, accept 3 points. I must tell the center referee how many points we were supposed to add, or accept 5 points.
Okay.
So that's new.
And if it is reject, you just cross your hand. If it is reject,
reject, cross your hand, and sit back down. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. So there was a situation happened in Worlds that the coach asked for 5 points. You clearly see her saying, hey, head kick 5 points. The review jury did not think it is a spinning kick. So the review jury stand up and say, accepted 3 points. Okay, that is okay. That's allowed. So the coach will be complaining, hey, no, it's a spinning kick. You should give me 5 points, or etc. Right? So that doesn't matter. What matters is the review jury decision. Oh, he or she thinks it's 3 points, then we add 3 points. Okay. So as center referee, once you say accept, make sure you pay attention to the to the review jury, whether we're adding 3 points or 5 points. It's just because coach can ask for 5 points, and then review jury only at 3 because he or she doesn't think it's a turning kick. But that can happen. So don't just accept and then you go to the coach right away, right? So don't do that. Pay attention. Take that extra half second to see whether we're adding 3 points or 5 points. Okay. Okay, let me go back to sharing. And share just the, yes. Okay, let's see what else. So clearly hit. I don't think there's any question for Hong, right? At least to me, it's clearly hit. All the coach needs to say is head kick, or he can say face kick, or 3 points. Doesn't matter if you know what they mean. So this is what the hand signal is. And then they check. Wait. Oh yeah, this is a replay. Then Hong 3陣, right? Okay. So there are a couple more special cases that the center referee can use their own IBL card to ask a video replay. Pretending injury is one. After 8 count or 10 count, to check whether the kick has scored for head kicks, corner judges can ask for technical points at any time, any round, regardless whether the coach has IBL card. Okay. So there are a couple of special situations I'll show you. One is pretending injury, one is time management. But before I go there, I almost forgot about this new rules here. Coach can ask for PSS test for free only in the first round. So in the first round, the coach can use their card and say, hey, I want to do a hardware test. That's fine. Then the center referee use their own card, do a PSS test. When that finished, nothing happens, case off, okay? But in the second round or in the third round, if the coach use their video replay card and asks for a hardware test, number one, you take that card. You take that card and then say home video replay, and then you do a hardware test. If everything works, meaning there's no technical problem, you keep the card. And then not only that, you have to give a gum jump to the player for coach misconduct, right? Because in the past, we've seen a lot of coaches, I shouldn't say a lot, but I see some coaches that does this to give their player a break, right? So that's something that we don't want to see happen. And now WTA decided not only the third round, but the second round and the third round. If a coach asks for hardware test and everything works properly, we give gum jump for that. So the change here is the second round, because in the past you can ask for a test in the second round without losing the card or without getting a gum jump. Okay, so that's the change there.
The first round is okay.
First round is okay. But again, use your discretion, right? Like if the system is clearly working, and the coach just keep on asking video play, oh, hardware test. 10 seconds later, ask a hardware test. 10 seconds later, then something is wrong, right? And the rules does not say you may give gum jump, but if the conduct is clear that they're trying to waste time, then yes, you can do that. You can give misconduct. Okay, but that doesn't happen. I haven't seen it happen.
So if the referee sees something weird and the coach asks in that second round, even if it didn't test out, if it tested okay still, but you also thought something was weird, would you not keep his card, or are you just required to at that point?
So if I were designated referee, I see something is wrong, and then I see the coach stand up and say, hey, video replay, right? Sometimes this coach will be telling you that, hey, a hardware test, something is wrong, right? if I see that, if I see something is going wrong, I can use my own card without risking the coach's card.
Okay.
Don't
But if you
put
do
that
get
card
it
on
from
the
me,
line. But
right,
do
but if
get
you
it
do,
from you, then
yeah, it's
yes,
gone.
you risk losing it.
Got it. Okay.
So, but the right thing to do in that case, if you're a center referee, you kind of think something is wrong, use your own card. Don't make the coach ask for it. So that's fair, because otherwise we don't want the coach to lose a card because the system has a problem. But then when the test is actually fine, so it can totally happen. So don't make it happen. Use your own card. Be fair. So that's what I want to say in this situation. Okay, let's go to pretending injury. So there's a lot of good clips in this World Championships. This is one. So take a look what happened, right? So you clearly see Cheung is punching to Hong's neck. And then Hong had a reaction, right? Because being punched to the neck is painful. The referee clearly did not see the punch that has landed in the neck. Maybe she was thinking maybe it's the body, maybe it's the collarbone. She was not sure. So what she did was she pulled her own card. And she pulled Hong's card. Why? Because we're checking whether Hong is pretending injury. So as you walk up to the view jury, you should be asking, can you check if Hong is pretending injury, right? Accepted means, yes, they are pretending injury. Give them a gum jump for misconduct, okay? And give them a gum jump for pretending injury, okay? If the request is rejected, that means Hong is not pretending injury. That means Cheung is doing something. The best way to handle this is you say accept or reject, and then call the center referee over and tell them exactly what happened. So this is what happened in this case. So the review jury has called the center referee over. So he can tell her exactly what happened and what she needs to do. In this case, if you really turn up the volume, you can hear the review jury said, Cheung punched Hong in the neck. So you need to give a gum jump for punching to the face, okay? And that's what she does. Okay? Then the gum jump has been added, all is good. Okay? So one more thing I want to note is that, you see after she walked back, so she knows exactly what she needs to do, right, at this point, because she just spoke to the review jury, but she waited, right? So why is she waiting? Why don't just give a gum, just give gum jump, right? Why is she waiting? Take a look in the back. Because the review jury has not switched the screen back, he's still looking at something. You want the screen to be switched back, right? Before you give gum jump, so everybody see the point has changed, the gum jump has gone up, right? If you add a gum jump when the scoreboard has not been switched back, sometimes coaches don't remember what the score was. They don't remember what the gum jump was for. And then they thought maybe, you gave a gum jump and you did not actually give the gum jump, or maybe the coach thought the computer operator made a mistake, right? So always switch the screen first. So everybody see you give a gum jump, and then everybody see the points has changed, okay? If that means you take extra 10 seconds, do it. So you will save a lot of trouble, okay? Okay, questions on that case? If not, I have a next case on some time issue. Like I said, there's a lot happening in this World Championships, and take a look. Is time over? You can kind of tell from the back, right? If time is over, it won't be like this. So this bottom yellow part, this won't be there. So there is a fraction of a second left. And then the score is 0-0. Oops. Okay. So now time is over, right? Because maybe the computer operator pressed a button. He or she thought the referee tried to end the round. And look at Cheung, like, hey, you know, I have that fraction of a second. You gotta let me fight, right? Because if you look at the scoreboard, see where the green dot is. Remember I told you about a green dot? Take a look here. See that Hong has a green dot. So Cheung, this player, was losing, right? So even though the score is 0-0, if you can read the scoreboard in the back, Hong has 4 hits and Cheung has 1 hit, and Cheung knows. So give me that. Basically, he was asking, give me that fraction of a second. Let me try to score 2 points for you, right? So he's upset because he didn't get a chance to score the 2 points, right? So the referee noticed. So he calls video replay. So in this case, it doesn't matter which card you pull as long as you do video replay, because the time issue, no, is more like not specific to Cheung or not specific to Hong. It's really matter to both. So in this case, it doesn't matter whether the center referee pulled the Cheung's card or Hong's card, doesn't matter. So as long as we call video play to fix the issue, right?
Surviving mode, and then in the last 20 seconds, just I want to make a point. That's good because when men is doing like 1 minute to the second round, you know, shooting all of the kings, you get tired. So
you said a lot of headshots as well.
Yes.
Let's have a look here. He doesn't step out, but is he avoiding the fight?
For me, no.
I would agree with you.
0-0, but in favor of China.
Which way will it go? If there's a gap job given, it will be the round.
Oops. My fat fingers. Okay. So you see in the back, this you can clearly see the time is 0-0-0, right? That's what they're changing.
Corner. Shake of the head from the referee.
So future accepted.
I think that was to indicate that they understood each other. Stefan Rail knew it.
And then they give 1 second back. Well, we cannot really give a fraction of a second in data or even KPMG system. The least amount of time you can give is 1 second, which is what happened here, right? So view jury agreed that the operator made a mistake. The operator should not have started the clock before the referee says case solved, right? So that's what happened. So basically what happened was the center referee turned around and suddenly time's run out, right? So that is a timing issue. That got fixed by adding 1 second to the clock. And remember, when we have video play, we have to use video play to fix time issues. You cannot just say, okay, yeah, I think that we'll just give them 5 seconds back. We give them 7 seconds back without looking at video. No, you cannot do that. With video, you must look at the video, verify that case, and then decide how much time you're gonna give back. You cannot just say, okay, yeah, operator made a mistake. Let's give him 3 seconds. You can't do that. You must check the video. Okay, but if you don't have the video, then do your best, right?
So why was he trying to stop them in the first place before the time ran out?
So that is a good question.
Because he never called a penalty.
Correct. Maybe he thought time was over. So Steve, that's actually a very good question, and you can kind of see him actually like do a command, and then after he did command, then he realized there's time left, and then operator started the clock and finish the round, right?
He anticipated the end of the round.
Yes. Yes. So he realized he made a mistake, that the time runs out, and Cheung doesn't have a chance, doesn't have the fraction of a second to at least try, right? So he realized the mistake, and then he fixed it. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Making mistake is fine. Everyone make a mistake. I make mistake at works. I admit to you. Now the question, can we fix it, right? So. Okay. So you guys know the procedure. Accept, request, reject it. So that's pretty much all I have. So before I open up for more questions, let me check if I missed anything, because I made some notes for my other competition. Clinch, we talk about clinch. We talk about 3 kicks in the air, hardware test, IVR for technical points from corner judge. So, take a look. Yeah. So that's all I have prepared. So let me stop sharing. And any questions